For many cancer patients, one of the most difficult moments can be telling their children that they are sick and may die. But a new comic book has been written to help parents break the news to their kids, as well as helping them understand some of the effects of treatment. This from Jane Dougal.
Oh look, this is radiotherapy, this is what I'm doing now.
This is radiotherapy.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, Karen Penny was diagnosed with breast cancer. As well as having to cope with the news herself and the treatment she'd have to go through, she also had to tell her children, 10-year-old Morgan and 8-year-old Rohan.
I felt that she was going to die. She told me that you would only die if you had a really strong cancer, and she told me that it was a very safe cancer.
It's a very difficult thing to tell your children. It's because you're scared yourself and you don't want to scare them. They will kind of think about it, come back to you, and with more specific questions about the actual breast cancer itself. What is cancer? What does it do? Why are you having this operation, Mummy? Why are you having chemotherapy?
And that is where this comic book by Medikidz comes in. Karen read it with her children and says it helped explain what was happening to her. One of the ways it tries to make the disease more understandable is by comparing cells to cows. When the cells become cancerous, they turn into bad cows. They then multiply and destroy good cells, just like cancer.
I found it very useful, especially when the cows came in and acted as cells, because they were fighting, and it helped me understand a lot more what was going on in my mum's breast.
Talking about cancer with kids is an unenviable task. What's Up with Bridget's Mum was developed by a team of doctors. It aims to simplify the medical terminology and make the experience less daunting for parents.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think we need to talk on children's levels. So it's very important that we convey that this is a time that it's normal to feel worried or sad, and that they're gonna see changes in mum, and anything that we've got that's available that will help with that is a great thing.
Karen has a good prognosis. Her cancer hasn't spread and she's undergoing radiotherapy. She feels her children understanding what she's going through helps them support her and keep her optimistic. Jane Dougal, Sky News.
Well, Dr. Kim Chilman-Blair is the founder of Medikidz and co-author of the comic you saw in Jane's report. Joins us here live. Afternoon to you. It's a great concept. Was there a gap in the market? Why did you decide to do it?
Well, myself and my colleague, Dr. Kate Hersov, when we were junior doctors in New Zealand, we realised that there was no information to give children to describe all of these different conditions that they were being diagnosed with. There was a lot of information for parents, fact sheets and things, but nothing for the patients themselves to help them understand what they were going through. So we set out to create a series of comic books that explain different conditions to children, whether it be asthma, epilepsy, all of the childhood cancers, cystic fibrosis, haemophilia. We want to explain it to them as doctors understand it, but for children.
And one of the things, I mean, certainly any medical history or whatever that I have, the words that are used, the terminology, the environment of medicine is quite daunting to an adult. And,
sure.
I mean, how have you been able to sort of translate those terribly complicated words, symptoms, whatever, into kids' speak?
Well, obviously, even for an adult, sickness and illness and all of those words are incredibly daunting. Children are even more vulnerable, and so that's why we brought on the help from some guys that hail from Marvel Comics in the US. So while I write the medical content, the analogies behind how I want to describe diabetes or how I want to describe ADHD, he then takes I call it the skeleton of the story, and adds the flesh to it. So the funny parts, the gags, he makes it edgy, funny, interesting, a page turner for the kids.
Do you try to, in them as well, give advice, give help to a kid? I mean, if you've got a 10-year-old who's found out that his mum's got breast cancer, similar to those kids there, I mean, it's incredibly frightening. But Is there advice in there as well about how kids, it's okay to feel like this, or, you know,
Yes.
perhaps you should do this?
Yes, there is advice in there, and we also have a youth advisory board. There's 12 kids. They come and meet us every couple of months. They sit around, they eat pizza, they tell us what they love, what they hate about all the different kinds of things that we're doing, and they really guide us. And they tell us about what they want advice on. For example, how to deal with making themselves feel less anxious about an investigation or a test that's coming up.
I'm looking at the other titles that you've got on the back here, and a lot. Which are most popular? I mean, cancer is one of the most daunting. This is about diabetes, ADHD, but which one is the most popular?
They're all very popular. I think sometimes the ones that are rarer are actually the most popular, because there's really nothing at all explaining those conditions to children. Other ones, such as autism, which are quite common, they're also very popular because it's so misunderstood. So I don't really think there's any one across the board. We've had a unanimous response from doctors, from patients, from families saying we've never seen anything like this before. We love this information that we know is credible. It's written by doctors, but we can understand it.
And it's got a Mum's Choice Award, this new one on breast cancer, so it must be good. Really interesting to talk to you. Thank you very much for coming in,
so
Dr.
much.
King Chilman-Blair.
Thank you.